dance with you. I just wanna slow dance with you. I know all the other boys are tough and smooth, and I got the blues. I wanna slow dance with you. I wanna slow dance with you. I just wanna slow dance with you. Why don't you take a chance? I've got the moves I'd like to prove. I wanna slow dance with you. I wanna slow dance with you. I just wanna slow dance with you. Why don't you take a chance? I've got the moves I'd like to prove. I wanna slow dance with you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this podcast. This podcast is called Two Girls and a Forbidden Podcast. It's a Yuri podcast. I am Fire Princess Lily, and I'm joined by my good friend, Alice. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good. It's been a little while since we recorded because I had to go to the beach last week because it's the thing that my wife and I had planned. But why don't you tell us about what you've been doing since we last talked?
Well, I've been reading up on a lot of recently released Yuri Manga, as well as try out some of the newer released Yuri visual novels, and I guess work and stuff.
Nice, very cool. I've did the beach last week, but mostly I've just been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14, just all day, every day. But I don't have to work. It's a real good game. I'm enjoying it a lot. But yeah, that's everything that I've personally been up to. So this week, we're going to talk about Hana and Hina After School, which is a finished manga. We're just going to talk about the first volume though, because I think talking about the third volume would put us both in a anyway, just read it for yourself. If you feel like it. It ends very cute. It has a very cute ending, so bonus points for that. Things leading up to that. Anyway, before we kind of get into it, I did want to take just a moment to talk to specifically the mangaka of NTR Nozomi Trap.
Yeah.
Stop making Yuri manga where the primary story is that girls cheat on people to be together. That's just stop. It's terrible. I don't like it. You have such a great artistry, very good art, and it's just disappointing. Super disappointing. You're never gonna listen to this, but if I don't say it, I just needed to say it. So yeah, let's talk about a better manga. Just for sure, it is better, if only because it doesn't evolve around the whole cheating and people getting their hearts destroyed by cheating aspect.
Yeah, that's definitely makes this one the better manga out of the two.
Right, out of just a straight comparison of the two, I would not say that this is my favorite Yuri manga by far.
No, I agree with that. It's one of the problem with this mangaka, Morinaga, is that all of her Yuri manga kind of lean into the same tropes. Not all of them, because some of them involve adult women, whereas Hana and Hina-chan focuses on high school girls, and most others she makes as well. And they all lead into that kind of tropey especially the one about a popular girl going with a less popular girl. Kind of the nerd X cheerleader concept.
Oh, right, the worst concept.
I mean,
it's not the worst concept, but
it's not the worst. In a sense, it's basically a popular love comedy trope that's been turned in or fitted for Yuri audiences.
right.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a selling point for me, at least.
I just think that is a trope that's kind of overdone. The popular person dating the nerd person out of whatever ill-conceived notion that would be. Although it's not necessarily the worst done in this particular
No.
manga. I think it's actually that particular trope, even though I'm bored with it, is handled kind of well in this one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Just sort of leaning like, yeah, in a sense you're right. Perhaps it's just my personal gripe with the trope in general that it sort of like sends a shiver down my spine whenever it comes up again. After thinking a bit more about it, I suppose you're right. It's not that... It's handled better because of how people treat the popular question, or the popular character in question this time around.
Right. I think that what this manga particularly suffers from is, and we kind of talked about this off the podcast, is the forced
The forced drama?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I don't know why my brain just fizzled for a second. Yes, the forced drama. That's just a problem with, I believe, Yuri Manga in general. Is just the drama of, oh, I misunderstood something that the girl I like said, and now I know that she doesn't like girls for sure. And so then we have to deal with this for however many chapters or volumes of sad girl.
Yeah. So, perhaps a good idea to give a bit of insight. The name is Hana and Hina, and the popular girl in question is Hina, who used to be a model, and she goes to an all-girls school, and everyone's a big fan of her. And then the other one is Hana, who's sort of just average to most people in school. She's just there, basically. And Hina goes to work at the same store Hana works at, which is a character goods store. So it's basically like a store that would in real life sell a lot of Sanrio goods, so Hello Kitty and cinnamon roll. And Hina is a huge fan of that stuff, and Hana basically works there for the clothing. It's difficult. I hope people can still keep up. The names are a bit confusing, and I think that's purely on purpose, just for the fun of having similar names.
I think you're right. I think that is totally on purpose. I did like all the character stuff. Like, it's like maybe just because I am like Hina in that I like cute things, but I did like every time they brought up characters and showed off the little characters. I really did enjoy that quite a bit.
Yeah. That was actually, now that you mention it, it's quite nice, because as far as I'm aware, in any other mangas, these characters, or these character goods never show up again. So she made basically an entire character set just for this manga with relatively unique characters.
Yeah.
So that's something something I noticed and which I kind of admire.
I would actually purchase those goods.
Yeah, they like, you can see them in a lot of manga panels, like a lot of them, they're not similar, so you see different animals. A lot of focus on those rabbits, which have different items within their grasp, like a mug or a carrot. And those are all different.
Right, it's good stuff. For sure.
Yeah,
I don't know that I would want, like, I don't know what I want from it. I don't know exactly what I want from it, only that I liked it and I appreciated it. And
Yeah, I
maybe
don't-
if there could have been a little more of it. I don't know.
Perhaps at best you see it in the store and a few times outside of the store with Hina's obsession for the stuff.
Right. Right,
But
right.
beyond that, it's not really something talked about.
No, not at all. But as far as Hina and Hana, the characters themselves, I like both the characters. I don't dislike them. I guess it's just back to the forced trauma thing, is that it makes it hard to connect to either of them. I suppose it's just like, okay, like I'm not one to say that I don't understand how difficult it is to talk to the girl you like and wondering if she maybe likes girls too and maybe she doesn't, because that's just a thing in the queer community in general, that is an absolutely just a thing that we put up with. In that, is this person being nice and friendly, or are they flirting? We'll never know, because we just don't have the courage or the guts to actually step up and say anything.
Yeah.
So while I can, I guess, relate to that in a sense, it's like I never personally get into these situations where I'm so awestruck by a girl that I'm breaking down over her, and I've never even tried to gauge like her feelings, or if example, if I'm interested in a girl and she says something that maybe alludes to the fact that she's straight, I personally will be like, well, that's what that is, and I'll just like move on to, like, I guess not, I don't want to say like another conquest or something stupid like that, but I like, hop over it, because what are you gonna do? Why am I gonna like lay around and cry about it?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and it is something very, well, I'd say tangible within the queer community, as you've said. But I'm not entirely sure if that 100% is applicable to this manga, because Hina, without going too far into volume 2 and 3, Hina is the one who's all over Hana.
Right.
And then, rather than so much as gauge if she's into women, she just sort of, well, sometimes gives me off a bit of a stalker vibe.
Yeah.
Like, she's not straight up a yandere or stalker. That's not what's going on here.
No.
She started working there just because Hana worked there. It has nothing to do with the character goods that she's obsessed with. She just came there a few times and was obsessed with the girl working there, and decided, yeah, I'm gonna work there as well because she works there.
Right,
And
exactly. I'm sorry, I slipped a little bit into volume 3 a bit. That's on me.
That's not wrong, because it does happen in greater quantities, that she starts like testing the waters, and then that sort of starts up the forced drama that we both dislike.
Right.
But still, in a sense, I feel like she doesn't even think much about it, because she's just sort of throws it out there later on anyways. Like, she doesn't even realize, like, oh, I'm into her, but I don't think about what my words can do to her.
I do feel like there are times in the first volume where Hana is feeling some of those things, but it's quickly like shut down by her friend. Like, whoa, you can't feel that way. That's another girl. Which, I guess, another problem I have with Yuri Manga in general is the whole 2 girls can't date. That's weird. Like,
Yeah. When I look at older manga, which were classified as Yuri, but we probably wouldn't put it as Yuri, such as, well, most of the old school, all-girls school tropes with the older sisters and stuff, there, it's not so much prominent, it's just this closeness between 2 girls, and that's fine, and that's special, and that should be appreciated. And then when you look at the newer Yuris, it tends to be exactly this trope, and I dislike it, where it's just like, 2 girls can date. the end, or sort of the start of drama. With a lot of one-shots, that's the end of the that's where it ends, because it can't happen, so let's just forget about it.
I actually haven't read a lot of one-shots. I have one particular one-shot that's sitting on my bookshelf. I don't know what it's called right now. It escapes me, but it kind of almost went that route of, oh, two girls can't date, but then switched right towards the end and ended with like them being in a relationship and talking about wedding dresses and stuff. And I was like, this is good content. It was kind of like, it was a reverse. I don't know the name of it, but it was like Ouran High School Host Club, in that one character breaks something and is then bound to another character as to like stay out of trouble, pay off the debt, sort of thing.
Okay, it does sound familiar, but I read so much, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. My bookcase is exploding.
But as far as Hana and Hina, because I think we've pretty much kind of talked about it without actually like talking about it like page by page, I would say that while it's not my favorite for sure, I'd give it, like, if I were grading it on an American scale, because that's all I've got, I'd give it like a B minus, C plus. It's readable and can be enjoyable, but definitely you're gonna get that forced drama. There's just nothing, and unfortunately that's the genre in general, is that it has a lot of it. But I would say that this would be a decent day read if you're reading it off the web, or if you have all 3 volumes physically. Like, you could do it in a day, and you would be probably frustrated maybe if you're like me, but it does end in a way that is satisfying. So I'd give it that low B minus, and recommend it. Yeah.
For myself, I think I'd give it on a scale of 1 to 10, because I don't understand the letter grading system.
That would have been better.
I put it on, I think between a 6 and a 7, 6.5, something like that.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at.
Yeah, I have a lot of the same gripes with it, that the forced drama can get annoying if that's something that bothers you. Something we didn't really talk about, which I just realized is something I enjoy, is that the art style fits.
Oh, yeah.
Yuri, it's kind of, it's very shoujo-esque. It's very fluffy and girly, and that makes it kind of nice that it's for Yuri for once. But what I do kind of, I've read all of her mangas, and she suffers a bit from same face syndrome.
Oh no!
Even Hina and Hana have kind of similar facial structures.
They do.
Especially around their eyes are like very similar to all other characters. And that's kind of off-putting, because one is supposed to be a model and the other one's sort of plainish looking.
Right, she's supposed to be plain.
But they have the same eyes and that same facial structure with long eyelashes. Not as prominent for like, Hina has way more prominent eyelashes than Hana does, but they both sort of.
Right, it's like 1 or 2 features that are kind of changed to show their difference.
Yeah.
I can never pronounce her name, even though I really love her. I just found out recently that the creator of Sailor Moon, all the Sailor Scouts are supposed to like be different body types. Like Usagi is supposed to be chubby, and Makoto is supposed to be like super muscular, and they all just look the same. So I don't know if maybe that's just a sign of anime and manga in general. It's just you have these same size, these same like features, just because that's their style, and they don't know how to go like push out from that, which seems like I'm insulting them, and that's not my intent. But yeah, I don't know if that's just what that is.
It might be. I did notice that there's a few more differences in the ones made by this mangaka. It's especially with the high school girls, that they all have kind of similar looks to one another, especially with one of her older works, which is also one of the most popular ones. It's called Girlfriends. But when I look at like the ones where there's adults involved, like My Cute Little Kitten, that one, there's a big difference between the two characters.
The two characters.
In facial style and eye shape, and so I think it might be more of an older thing, or perhaps more of a high school.
Yeah,
Of
maybe.
the schoolgirl thing. I'm not sure.
That's cool.
But overall, I do give it a 6.5 to a 7. The art style is nice. Things do look different. Like the goods store has a lot of cute characters, but also a bit weirder ones, which is also what the what character goods look like
Right.
in real life. Some of the characters Sanrio puts out are a bit more questionable than in others. So I think it's realistic, and in that sense, it's different enough from the rest.
Yeah, I agree with that. So that's Hana and Hina, or Hina and Hana. Wait, they have somewhat
and Hina.
Hana and Hina. There we go. Because it's just his names. Hana and Hina after school. I don't know what because we should have talked about this before, but that's my fault. I don't know what we're going to review next, but definitely be back here in a couple of weeks, and we will talk about it, whatever it is. I'll let y'all know on Twitter. Speaking of which, you can find me on Twitter at DAT Fire Princess Lily. No, I'm sorry, at Dat Fire Princess. No Lily, just the 3 words. And also on my other podcast, Living the X Life, and One Half Podcast, which is actually the internet's only Rama One Half rewatch podcast. So I have that title that nobody wanted. And yeah, that's where you can find me. I don't know if Alice got any social media yet, or
I don't.
okay.
I don't.
Just what it is. But I will let you all know, all our listeners, however many there are, I will let you know what we're going to do next. And you can read along, or not, either way. And until next time, I don't have a sign off for this one. I don't think I ever decided.
No, I don't think that was decided yet.
Until next time, catchphrase. Enjoy the outro.
I've got the moves I'd like to prove. I wanna slow down.